The contraction ripped through me like a blade and I screamed. Not from the pain, but from what I'd just heard my sister whisper to the nurse outside my delivery room. Don't let her call our parents. They don't want to know she's here. My name is Rachel. I'm 31 years old, and I'm about to tell you how I learned that blood means nothing when it's been drained dry by leeches wearing your last name. This isn't a story about forgiveness. This isn't about healing or moving on or any of that garbage people say when they've never had their soul carved out by the people who were supposed to love them most. This is about what happens when you finally stop being the family ATM and start being their worst nightmare. And it started the night my daughter decided to make her entrance into this world. March 14th, 11:47 p.m. That's when my water broke. I was alone in my apartment, the same cramped two-bedroom I'd been living in for 6 years because every spare dollar went to their four-bedroom colonial with the wraparound porch and the professionally landscaped yard. But we'll get to that. I called my sister first. Stupid, I know. But old habits die hard, and Vanessa had been my emergency contact since I was 22. Nessa, my water just broke. I need you to drive me to the hospital. Silence. Then, now? Rachel, it's almost midnight. Can't you call an Uber? I remember pressing my hand against the wall, another contraction building. I'm scared. Please. I need family. She sighed like I'd asked her to donate a kidney. Fine. I'll be there in 20. She showed up 45 minutes later, scrolling through her phone while I hunched over in the passenger seat, timing contractions that were coming every 4 minutes. You're being dramatic, she said, not looking up. First babies take forever. You'll probably be in labor for like 20 hours. I didn't answer. Couldn't. The pain was one thing, but the cold indifference radiating from her was something else entirely. We hit every red light on the way to the hospital. Each one felt like an eternity while I gripped the door handle, breathing through contraction. Vanessa kept sighing, checking the time on her phone like I was inconveniencing her schedule. Can you drive a little faster? I gasped. Speed limit's 45, Rachel. I'm not getting a ticket for this. The nurse at intake was kind. Her name tag said Gloria, and she had warm brown eyes that crinkled when she smiled. She got me checked in, got me into a gown, got me hooked up to monitors while Vanessa stood in the corner, texting. Honey, you're already 6 centimeters dilated, Gloria said, checking the monitor. This baby's coming faster than you think. Who do you want us to call? Your husband? Your parents? No husband, I managed between breaths. But yes, call my parents, please. The number's in my phone. That's when Vanessa moved. Fast. She intercepted Gloria at the door, and I heard her, clear as crystal, even through the fog of pain. Don't call them. They don't want to know she's here. I must have made a sound, some kind of wounded animal noise, because Gloria looked back at me, confused. Is that true, honey? I shook my head, but Vanessa cut in again. She's not thinking straight. Trust me. Our parents specifically said they didn't want to be bothered with this. Gloria looked between us, clearly uncomfortable. I'll let you two sort this out, she said quietly, and slipped from the room. The moment we were alone, I locked eyes with my sister. What the hell did you just do? She crossed her arms. I'm saving you from embarrassment. Mom told me yesterday. She doesn't want to be there. You're lying. Call her yourself then. She tossed my phone onto the bed beside me, and with shaking hands, between contractions that were now coming every 3 minutes, I dialed. Mom picked up on the 4th ring. Rachel, it's midnight. What's wrong? Mom, I'm at the hospital. I'm in labor. Can you and Dad come? The pause lasted 3 seconds. 3 seconds that might as well have been 3 years. Rachel, sweetheart, I don't think that's a good idea. The room tilted. What? Your father and we've talked about this. We think it's best if we keep some distance right now. You understand? No. My voice cracked. No, I don't understand. I'm having your grandchild. I need you. You're a grown woman. You'll be fine. The nurses will take care of you. Mom, I have to go. Your father's waiting. Good luck, honey. She hung up. I stared at the phone, watching the call duration flash. 47 seconds. 47 seconds to be told I was on my own. Vanessa was watching me with something that looked almost like satisfaction. Told you. Get out. Rachel. Get out! I screamed it, loud enough that Gloria came rushing back in. Vanessa held up her hands in mock surrender. Fine, I tried to help. Don't say I didn't warn you. She grabbed her purse and walked out, heels clicking on the linoleum. Gloria squeezed my hand. You want me to call someone else, honey? I shook my head, tears streaming. There is no one else. 7 hours. That's how long I labored alone. Gloria stayed with me when her shift ended. She wasn't supposed to. She was supposed to go home at 7 a.m., but she held my hand through every contraction, every push, every moment I thought I might break apart. The contractions got worse around 3 a.m. They were coming every 90 seconds, each one a wave of agony that made me understand why women used to die in childbirth. Not from the physical trauma, though that was real, but from the sheer exhaustion of the relentless, endless assault on your body. You're doing amazing, Gloria kept saying. You're so strong. But I didn't feel strong. I felt hollowed out, abandoned. Around 5 a.m., I started begging for an epidural. The anesthesiologist came, a tired-looking man named Dr. Patterson who'd clearly been up all night. He positioned me, told me to curve my spine, told me to hold still while another contraction threatened to split me in half. Almost there, he said. Don't move. I felt the needle go in, felt the weird pressure, and then nothing. Sweet, blessed nothing. The pain didn't disappear completely, but it became manageable, distant. Gloria wiped my forehead with a cool cloth. Better? I nodded, unable to speak. Because the physical pain was better, yes. But the other pain, the knowledge that I was utterly alone in this, that pain had no epidural. At 6:52 a.m., my daughter entered the world screaming. They placed her on my chest. This tiny, perfect creature with my nose and my dark hair, and I cried. Not from joy, though that was there too, but from the devastating realization that my own mother had chosen not to witness this moment. She's beautiful, Gloria whispered. Have you picked a name? Maya, I said, the name I'd chosen months ago. The name I'd excitedly told my mother about over Sunday dinner, back when I still thought she cared. Her name is Maya. Gloria helped me get situated, helped me try to nurse, helped me fill out paperwork, and then, finally, she had to leave. You're going to be okay, she said, squeezing my shoulder. You're stronger than you know. I wanted to believe her. The morning nurse, a brisk woman named Patricia who seemed perpetually annoyed, brought me breakfast around 8. Rubbery eggs, cold toast, orange juice in a plastic cup. Someone left this at the desk for you, she said, dropping a manila envelope onto my bed tray. No name on it, no return address. I opened it with one hand, Maya asleep in my other arm. Inside was a single document, a foreclosure notice, for my parents' house. Notice of default and election to sell under deed of trust. The words swam. I had to read them 3 times before they made sense. Property address, 847 Willow Creek Drive. My parents' house. The house I'd been paying the mortgage on for 9 years. Payments missed, 4 months. Amount due, $37,492. Foreclosure sale date, March 29th. 2 weeks away. My hand started shaking so badly I almost dropped it. 4 months? 4 months of missed payments? I'd been sending my mother $12,100 every single month like clockwork since I was 22 years old. Direct deposit from my account to hers. First Monday of every month. Never late. Never missed. Except, I scrolled through my phone with fumbling fingers, opening my banking app. And there it was. 4 months of deposits. Made from my account. But not to my mother's account. To an account I didn't recognize. I called the bank. Got transferred 3 times. Finally got someone named Marcus who pulled up my records. Ma'am, it looks like the payee information was changed on November 3rd. Changed? By who? The request came from your email address. I never changed it. I didn't. I stopped. November 3rd. I'd been at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Vanessa had borrowed my phone to look something up while I was in the bathroom. Can you tell me whose account the money's been going to? Marcus hesitated. I can't give you account holder information, but the account nickname is Nessa's Savings. The room went cold. I called Vanessa first. She didn't pick up. I called again. And again. On the fourth try, she answered. What, Rachel? I'm busy. You stole from me. My voice was eerily calm. You changed my bank information and stole $8,400 from me, money that was supposed to pay Mom and Dad's mortgage. Oh, please, you gave that money to them freely for years. I figured you could spare a little for me, too. A little? Their house is in foreclosure. That's not my problem, that's yours. You're the one who made yourself their personal piggy bank. Maya stirred against me, making little newborn sounds. I lowered my voice. Why would you do this? Because I'm tired of you being the golden child. Poor Rachel. So generous, so self-sacrificing. Do you know how exhausting it is being your sister? Mom and Dad worship you. They just told me they didn't want to come to the hospital. They hung up on me. Yeah, because I told them how you've been complaining about the mortgage payment, how you think they're ungrateful, how you're tired of carrying them. I never said any of that. Didn't you? Not even once? Not even in your head? Her voice turned mocking. Doesn't matter. They believed me, and now they think you're trying to manipulate them by having this baby. Like you timed your pregnancy just to guilt trip them. I couldn't breathe. You're insane. I'm practical, and I'm done with this conversation. Don't call me again. She hung up. I called my mother. She picked up on the first ring this time. I got a foreclosure notice, I said without preamble. 4 months of missed payments. Want to explain that? Oh. Her voice was flat. Yes, we received that too. You received it? Mom, I've been paying your mortgage for 9 years. And we appreciate that, Rachel. We really do. But the last few months, the money stopped coming. No, it didn't. I sent it every month. Vanessa changed the account information. She stole it. Silence. Mom, did you hear me? Vanessa stole over $8,000 from me. That's between you and your sister. Between? I couldn't form words. Are you serious right now? Your house is about to be foreclosed on. Yes, we're aware. Your father and I have been discussing options. Options? Mom, I can fix this. I can call the bank, reverse the payments, get caught up. No. The single word landed like a bomb. What? We don't want your help anymore, Rachel. You don't. What are you talking about? She sighed, and in that sigh I heard 9 years of resentment, carefully hidden, finally surfacing. You've held that mortgage over our heads for years. Every Sunday dinner, every holiday, there you are. Saint Rachel, who saved us from losing our home. Do you know how that feels? To owe your own daughter? I never asked you to feel that way. You were going to lose the house. You begged me for help. We were desperate. We didn't think about what it would mean long term, how it would change things between us. So you just, what? Decided to let me waste 9 years of payments? $95,000, Mom. That's how much I've given you. No one asked you to give that much. The cruelty of it stole my breath. I just had your grandchild, I whispered. Alone. And you're telling me you resent me for helping you? I'm telling you that we need space. From you. From this obligation. We've decided to let the house go. Let it. You're going to let them foreclose? Your father has a friend with a rental. We'll be fine. We were fine before you, and we'll be fine after. Before me? Mom, I'm your daughter. And we love you. But we can't keep doing this. It's too much. You're too much. She hung up. I sat there in that hospital bed, my newborn daughter sleeping on my chest, and I understood something fundamental about the universe. Sometimes, the people who are supposed to love you are just waiting for an excuse to let you go. I didn't cry. I was done crying. Instead, I opened my laptop. I'd brought it because I'd planned to work from the hospital if labor took too long, back when I still thought I'd have family support and visitors and maybe even help. I pulled up every document I had, every bank statement, every email, every text message where my mother confirmed the mortgage arrangement. Because here's what they didn't know. I'm not just generous, I'm careful. When I started paying their mortgage 9 years ago, I didn't just hand over cash. I made my mother sign a promissory note, a legal document stating that I was loaning her the money for the mortgage, that she would pay me back within 15 years, and that if the house sold, I would receive my full investment plus 5% interest before she saw a dime of equity. I had it notarized. I had it witnessed by her best friend, who thought I was being overly cautious, but signed anyway because Mom asked her to. I have every receipt, every bank transfer, every text where she thanked me for this month's payment. And here's the beautiful part. They're letting the house go to foreclosure, which means it'll be sold at auction, which means I have 2 weeks to put a plan in motion. My mother thought I was being paranoid when I insisted on the promissory note. She'd laughed, actually. "You don't trust your own mother?" she'd said, smiling like it was a joke. "It's not about trust," I'd told her back then. "It's about protecting both of us. Legal clarity." She'd signed it anyway. Probably thought I'd never enforce it. She was wrong. I called an attorney from my hospital bed. His name was David Chen, and he'd helped me with a contract dispute 3 years ago. He was smart, aggressive, and didn't waste time on pleasantries. "Rachel, congratulations on the baby. What do you need?" I explained everything: the foreclosure, the promissory note, the 9 years of payments. "Send me the documents," he said. "All of them." I did. Right there. One-handed, while nursing Maya, I scanned and emailed every piece of evidence I had. He called back 2 hours later. "This is solid. Airtight. Your mother legally owes you 109.45. That's principal plus the agreed-upon interest. And here's the thing. In a foreclosure, secured creditors get paid first. You have a promissory note with a recorded lien against the property." "Wait. I have a lien?" "You do. It's in the promissory note language. This debt is secured by the property at 847 Willow Creek Drive. You recorded it with the county clerk when you had it notarized. Do you remember doing that?" I did. Vaguely. My mother had been annoyed about the extra step, but I'd insisted. "So what does that mean?" "It means when that house sells at auction, you get paid before anyone else. Before your parents see a penny. They've been paying down the principal for 9 years, building equity. Current market value on that house is around $480,000. They owe about $220,000 to the primary lender. That leaves $260,000 in equity. And I get first claim to that. You get first claim to your 109,045. The rest goes to them." I was quiet for a moment, thinking, what if I bought the house at auction? You could. You'd need to pay off the primary mortgage, that $220,000. Plus, you'd need cash for the auction bid. But yes, technically, you could buy your parents' house out from under them. And they'd owe me $109,045 on top of losing the house. Correct. They'd have no house, and a six-figure debt to you that I could pursue through wage garnishment, asset seizure, or judgment liens on any future property they purchase. Maya made a sound, and I adjusted her. This tiny life depending on me, this child my parents didn't want to meet. "Let's do it," I said. "All of it." David was quiet for a beat. "Rachel, I need to be clear about something. This will destroy your relationship with your family. Completely. There's no coming back from this." "What relationship?" I asked. "They abandoned me during childbirth. They stole from me. They told me I'm too much. There's nothing left to destroy." "Okay then. I'll start the paperwork. You focus on getting the money together." Getting $300,000 in 2 weeks should have been impossible. But I'd been working as a senior financial analyst for 8 years. I made good money. Would have made better if I hadn't been funneling $2,100 a month into my parents' mortgage, and I'd been saving what I could. I had $87,000 in my 401k. I took the early withdrawal, ate the penalties and taxes, walked away with about $62,000. I had $31,000 in savings that I'd been building for Maya's future. I had $15,000 in stocks my grandfather left me before he died. That brought me to $108,000. I needed another $192,000. David connected me with a private lender who specialized in what he called quick turnaround investment loans. The interest rate was brutal, 12% annually, but I didn't care. I'd be able to refinance once I owned the property. The lender, a middle-aged woman named Sandra, met me at a coffee shop. She looked at my financials, looked at the foreclosure notice, looked at me. "You're buying your parents' house out from under them." It wasn't a question. "Yes. And you understand the emotional implications of that?" "Completely." She smiled. It wasn't a warm smile, but it wasn't cruel either. It was the smile of someone who'd seen this story play out before. "I'll have the money ready by the 28th. Don't make me regret this." I won't. I was discharged from the hospital on March 16th. 3 days old Maya was. When I strapped her into the car seat, I'd installed myself and drove us home to my cramped apartment. No one visited. No one called. Radio silence from my entire family. Fine. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. David filed the paperwork to enforce the promissory note. The money cleared into my account on March 27th. I barely slept, feeding Maya every 2 hours, changing diapers, learning how to be a mother while plotting to take everything from mine. March 29th, auction day, county courthouse steps, 10 a.m. I showed up in jeans and a sweatshirt, Maya strapped to my chest in a carrier. I'd been up since 4 a.m. with her, feeding and changing and soothing, and I probably looked like death. My parents didn't show up. They'd already moved into their friend's rental. According to Vanessa's Instagram, yes, I checked. They were starting a new chapter and releasing material attachments. The photos showed them unpacking boxes, smiling, like they hadn't just thrown away their daughter. There were 4 other bidders. Real estate investors mostly looking for a deal. The auctioneer was a bald man with a clipboard and a bored expression. He read the property details in a monotone. 847 Willow Creek Drive, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,400 square feet. Primary mortgage balance $220,000. He started the bidding at $200,000. Someone immediately bid $210,000. Another countered with $220,000. I waited, watched. These were professionals. They had strategies. $230,000, $240,000, $250,000. When it hit $260,000, 3 of the bidders dropped out. Only one left, a guy in an expensive suit who looked annoyed that a woman with a newborn was even at this auction. $270,000, he said, his voice clipped. $280,000, I countered. He turned to look at me properly for the first time. His eyes traveled from my unwashed hair to the baby carrier to my sneakers. He was calculating, trying to figure out if I was serious or desperate. $290,000, he said. $300,000. His jaw tightened. $305,000. I didn't hesitate. $320,000. Now people were watching. The auctioneer looked more alert. Maya chose that moment to wake up and start fussing, and I bounced slightly, keeping her calm. The guy in the suit studied me for a long moment. I could see him doing the math, weighing whether this property was worth getting into a bidding war with someone who clearly had nothing to lose. He walked away. $320,000 going once, going twice, sold to bidder 47. I signed the paperwork, transferred the funds, walked away with the deed to my parents' house. Maya had fallen back asleep against my chest, completely unaware that her mother had just committed financial warfare. I called my mother that afternoon. "I bought your house," I said when she answered. Silence, then. "What?" "The foreclosure auction. I was the winning bidder. I own 847 Willow Creek Drive now. You, you can't do that. I just did. And here's the fun part. You still owe me $109,045 from the promissory note you signed. My attorney will be in touch about repayment arrangements. Rachel, that's not fair. We needed that equity. Yeah? I needed my mother at the hospital when I gave birth. I guess we don't always get what we need. This is cruel. No, Mom. Cruel is telling your daughter her family doesn't want to know she's in labor. Cruel is letting her pay your bills for 9 years and then throwing it in her face. Cruel is choosing your pride over your grandchild. I heard her crying. A year ago, that sound would have broken me. Now, I felt nothing. You have 30 days to remove any personal belongings from the property, I said. After that, anything left becomes mine. And if you miss a single payment on what you owe me, I'll garnish your wages. Both of you. We don't have that kind of money. Then you'll be paying me for a very long time. You better hope you live to 85. How can you be so cold? I learned from the best. You taught me that family is transactional, that love has limits, that when push comes to shove, I'm disposable. So congratulations, Mom. You made me just like you. Your father will never speak to you again. Good. That makes things easier. I hung up. Vanessa showed up at my apartment 3 days later. She pounded on the door until I answered, Maya crying from the noise. You can't do this to them, she screamed the moment I opened the door. They're our parents. And yet they made it very clear I'm not their daughter anymore. Consequences, Vanessa. You're destroying them over a house. No, I'm reclaiming what I paid for. There's a difference. She pushed past me into the apartment, still yelling. They'll be paying you for years. They're in their 60s. This will ruin their retirement. Should have thought about that before Mom told me I was too much while I was holding her granddaughter. Should have thought about that before you stole $8,400 from me. I'll sue you. I'll get a lawyer and what? Prove that I legally purchased a house at a public auction? That I'm enforcing a valid promissory note your mother signed? Good luck with that. Her face was red, tears of rage streaming. What about the money I took? You going to come after me too? I smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Already did. David filed a police report for theft and fraud. You changed my banking information without authorization and stole $8,400. That's a felony in this state. The color drained from her face. You reported me? Yep. Detective Williams will probably be contacting you soon. Hope you have a good lawyer. I'm your sister. You were my sister. Now you're just someone who committed a crime against me. And you know what the beautiful part is? You did it to play games, to get revenge for some imaginary favoritism. You destroyed our parents' financial security for $8,400 and spite. They don't favor you anymore. I made sure of that. Yeah, you did. And now you get to watch them pay me $850 a month for the next decade while living in a rental they can barely afford. Was it worth it? She lunged at me, actually lunged, hands reaching for my face. I stepped back, and she stumbled, catching herself on the doorframe. Maya was screaming now, terrified by the chaos. Get out, I said quietly, and if you ever come back here, I'll file for a restraining order. You're unstable, and I have a daughter to protect. You're the unstable one. You're vindictive and… I'm vindictive? I laughed. It was a harsh sound. Vanessa, you stole from me. You turned our parents against me while I was pregnant. You made sure I gave birth alone. And now you're shocked that there are consequences? Get out. She left, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the walls. I locked it behind her and picked up Maya, soothing her, rocking her until her cries became whimpers and then silence. It's okay, I whispered. We're okay. We don't need them. 2 weeks later, I hired movers. My parents had cleared out their personal items. Mostly. They'd taken the furniture, the family photos, the dishes, but they'd left things behind. Little things. A cookbook my mother had used for 30 years. My father's fishing gear in the garage. Christmas ornaments in the attic. I donated it all. I wasn't interested in their memories. I was interested in building new ones. I furnished the house piece by piece. A crib for Maya in the master bedroom. A comfortable couch for the living room. A desk in my old bedroom, which I converted into a home office. I painted over their beige walls with soft blues and grays. I planted flowers in the garden my mother had always been so proud of. I received a letter from Dad 2 months ago. An actual letter, not an email or text. He'd written it in his careful script, the one he used for important things. Rachel, I don't expect you to forgive us. I don't expect anything from you, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. Your mother and I made mistakes. We let pride and resentment cloud our judgment. We forgot that you were our daughter first, before you became our financial support. I was there when you were born. Did you know that? I held you for the first time at 3:17 in the morning, and you had the same dark eyes Maya has now. I counted your fingers and toes. I made promises to you that I didn't keep. I don't know how to fix this. I don't think I can. But I want you to know that I think about Maya every day. I wonder what she looks like, what she sounds like, whether she has your smile. I'm sorry. Dad, I read it once. Then I put it in a drawer and haven't looked at it since. Sorry doesn't pay the mortgage. Sorry doesn't erase labor alone. Sorry doesn't undo 9 years of being used. Vanessa took a plea deal. Restitution plus probation plus community service. She has to pay me back $8,400 at $200 a month. Plus, she's banned from accessing any of my financial accounts ever again. It's in the court order. She violated it once, trying to pull information from a shared credit monitoring service we'd both used, and spent 3 days in jail for contempt. She's not speaking to anyone in the family now, which is fine by me. Last I heard, she'd moved 2 states away and changed her phone number. For 9 years, I taught them that I was a doormat, that my money was theirs, that I'd sacrifice my own comfort, my own future, my own dreams to keep them afloat. And they learned that lesson well, too well. When I needed them most, bleeding, scared, bringing their grandchild into the world, they threw that lesson back in my face. They told me I was too much, that I was manipulative, that they didn't want to know. So I taught them a new lesson. I am not a doormat. I am not a bank. I am not a person you can use and discard. I am someone who keeps receipts, who plans carefully, who doesn't forgive and forget.